the earth, had grown into a woman. Her body carried the markings of her lineage. At her wrist hung a baby's birthstone, smoothed by generations of laboring women. In her hand, she carried Martha's desert staff, darkened by sun and prayer. Around her neck rested the adornment Nkiriga had placed upon her the day of parting. A reminder that knowledge could walk between worlds and still remain human. Across the regions, she was known as Alaoma, the one born of many mothers. So when word reached her that the colonial governor had summoned all midwives and healers to the district hall for instructions, she felt the wind change direction. She remembered Marka's warning. When strangers name your work, guard your silence. They do not seek to learn it, they seek to own it. The district hall reeked of ink, sweat, and impatience. Wooden benches were packed with women, midwives, herbalists, bone setters, wrappers tied tightly around their waists in quiet defiance. These were women whose hands had caught life in darkness, whose herbs had cooled fevers long before quinine arrived in crates. At the front stood the British medical officer, pale and sleek with heat, his uniform stiff against the Lagos sun. Beside him, a local clerk translated words lifted from paper. Henceforth, the clerk read, all betting practices not supervised by government-appointed nurses or doctors are forbidden. The use of unverified herbs, chanting, or charms shall be classified as witchcraft and punished accordingly. The room stirred, first disbelief, then anger, rising like breath before a storm. Marka rose slowly. Her hair had silvered but her spine remained unbowed. How do you ban what the gods themselves taught us, she asked. Our hands have delivered your wives and daughters. Our herbs have healed your fevers. If our ways are witchcraft, then so is your breath, for it comes from the same Creator. The officers frowned. Madam, medicine must be researched and approved. Marka's voice sharpened. Approval does not mean truth. A ripple of laughter cut through the hall. Another woman called out, her voice steady with rage. You do not know our bodies. You do not know our blood. You do not know our beds, and you are a man. Tell us, how did you learn enough to decide you were superior? The officer did not answer. Alaoma stood silent, fist clenched around her mother's beds. She felt something fracture, not in the all, but in the soul of the people. This was not instruction, it was erasure. Weeks later, the law arrived with boats. Soldiers and inspectors moved through villages, entering betting huts uninvited. They overturned gods, smashed calabashes, seized bundles of dry leaves tied with red thread. A baby stool of life, the same stool that had borne hundreds of women through labor, was dragged into the open and thrown into fire. When Alaoma ran towards it, smoke blistered her arms. Marka pulled her back. Do not cry for the wood, Marka whispered. Cry for the memory it carried. Beyond the forest hills, Nkirika's shrine was desecrated. Symbols crept away, offerings scattered like rubbish. The wind howled for days afterward, unsettled. The gods are silent, some villagers murmured, or perhaps they approve. But Alaoma knew better. Silence was not consent, it was mourning. At dusk, the sun bled into the river. A baby, Marka, and Alaoma sat together on the bank. The pain you feel, baby said, is older than us. It belongs to generations unborn. Children will grow knowing antiseptics but not anointing songs, hospitals but not herbs. Marka nodded. But blood remembers. Memory hides when haunted. Alaoma stared into the water, watching her reflection break and reform. Then I will become the memory, she said. If the law forbids our healing, I will heal in silence. A baby cupped her face. That is how new ages are born. Not with drums, but with women who refuse to forget. That very night, a woman went into labor, the chief's wife, forbidden by law to seek the old woman. The government laws was days away. Her cries tore through the dark. Alaoma slipped into the hut with her calabash and herbs. Maka stood guard at the door. If they catch us, Maka said quietly, they'll call it treason. Alaoma smiled, calm and fierce, then let the gods record the truth. She walked swiftly, boiling away urine, pressing the woman's back, humming her baby's breathing songs, low enough to pass for breath. When the child cried, the sound cracked the night open. Alaoma lifted the newborn and whispered, "May your first breath break every chain." The woman wept, not for fear, but for recognition. From that night onward, healing became an act of rebellion. The woman who once betted openly now betted in shadows. The white coats wrote laws, reports, and textbooks to raise them. And slowly, the midwives faded from public record. Some remembered as saints, some slandered as witches, some claimed by their people, others renamed by strangers. But knowledge does not die when outlawed. It waits. It travels through blood, through dreams, through the quiet hands of women who still know where to press, when to sing, when to stay, waiting for the day it will become communal again.